kayfabe was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, we are the generation. You make your rules, and we will.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I am Mr. Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is the Kayfabe livecast.
Or is it the podcast?
Or is it the Kayfabe podcast?
I don't know, we'll figure it out.
But you know where you can find us at.
You know, we're there every week. We're consistently at the SmackDown Hotel every week.
Yeah, man.
On the corner, just chilling.
So this is This Week in Wrestling, and we're covering everything from Halloween all the way up to November 7th. And as we usually do, we're watching wrestling as we talk about wrestling. We have SmackDown going down right now, running it back. And today we have a lot of news. We have a lot of
Speaking of fast
So,
forward,
pay-per-views, a lot of us to talk
fast
about.
forward through the commercials for DVR.
Well, I'm not going to pay attention to that. So,
I'm
at
just
some
saying,
point.
saying. It's on.
Anyways, what we have on the menu today, we're going to start off with Power Struggle. And
Power Struggle is a good pay-per-view.
this is New Japan
Definitely
Pro
good.
Wrestling.
So
We
let's-
have the first actual defense of Chris Jericho's title reign.
Yep.
He's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Intercontinental Champion.
He's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, alright? 10-time Intercontinental Champion, okay? Huh?
I'm not arguing.
But yeah, I'm not arguing that. He's the GOAT.
Don't at
check
me
out
at
our
nothing.
check out our top 5 best in the world episode coming out same time as this episode drops tonight. Definitely check that out. It's already, we already talked about Jericho.
Billy Goat, alright?
We in
But
agreement.
just
We in
in case you
agreement with
didn't
him.
know, Jericho attacked Evil after the match. Naito made the save, challenged Jericho, and Jericho doesn't even want to have nothing to do with that.
Now,
There was this one spot during the match where Chris Jericho, he was going, I think Evil was going to bounce off the ropes, and Chris Jericho stop, change direction, boom, hit him with the code breaker, and it was so crazy the way,
the rebound code breaker you're talking about. Yeah.
How he's stopped and changed direction. And just hit him
Jericho
with
at
it.
40, what is he, 46?
47, just came out of no. That's
Jericho at 47 moves smoother than anybody else. It's amazing. That was a great match. Very back and forth. And you know what? Something that Jericho said about this match in regards to Evil. He said he gave Evil his best match. He gave Evil his first classic match.
I'm not too sure about that. Evil's a pretty good word.
Nah, Evil's definitely has some classic matches.
If you look in the New Japan Pro Wrestling library, I'm pretty sure you'll find a match that.
I mean, Evil's obviously been around.
He had some really good matches
but
with Okada.
But on the level of Chris Jericho, probably
never
not.
on.
And I think that's the biggest point out of this, because let's be honest, New Japan Pro Wrestling is having a little renaissance with the fans. They're looking for another outlet, another avenue to see their wrestling, and New Japan's been getting on a fire. I kind of attribute that to Chris Jericho, even going to New Japan in the first place.
Chris
The
Jericho
Bullet
started
Club,
last year.
Elite, they were doing their thing and everything, but I think the American viewers definitely started tuning in once they saw Jericho's jump over.
That started last year at Wrestle Kingdom when you first went over there and faced
Naito comes out at the end. He tries to make the save for Evil, and Jericho cuts one of the best promos yet, I think.
Huh? You want an interview? Huh? Give me some fucking water. Give me some water. Huh? No water, no interview. Huh? No rematch for rematch for Naito ever.
I'm the greatest of all. I'm the GOAT.
I'm
the GOAT. And he says, and if you don't understand what that means because you're Japanese, it means the greatest of all time. that attitude, like that is, I love this Jericho. I miss that edge.
This is how we're getting how Ric Flair and them were like in the '80s and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Getting that real heel heat and not having to worry about.
He's
anything.
one that he definitely uses his freedom to his advantage, and it just gets better. Moving on from that, we have Jay White and the Fire Squad Bullet Club versus Chaos.
People don't understand how big Jay White coming to the Bullet Club is, because him coming to the Bullet Club made Tanahashi and Okada have to come together. And if you're in
two
New Japan,
rival factions,
if you're a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, you understand how big that is. Okada and Tanahashi have been warm for years over Wrestle Kingdoms,
lots of
through
bad
championships, classic bouts, and those two had to come together to stop Jay White and the OGs. So.
The funny thing is, I'm seeing a lot of like Jay White hate in a lot of these threads and a lot of these boards online. I don't think people really know much about Jay White.
People don't know.
They're trying to say he's like a carbon copy or he's trying to be Omega. And honestly, it's like I said previously in other episodes of Kayfabe Avenue, I said Jay White's kind of in his cleaner phase. Give him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's gonna I think rise through the ranks and he's gonna come through.
This year he's beating Kenny Omega, Okada, and Tanahashi. Those are three of the biggest. Those are the three biggest New Japan Pro Wrestler, not counting Naito. Those are the three biggest New Japan Pro Wrestlers, and he beat all three of them. And he beat Kenny for the title, the United States title. So
I feel like Drew has the momentum. I mean, not Drew. Jay has the momentum that was very much like Drew McIntyre in his first WWE run right now.
But he's just run with it.
Yep. Instead of being marginalized, they just giving him the whole creative
as the chosen one gimmick. You're saying?
I wouldn't say as the chosen one gimmick, but they're giving him the
push
tools
from
necessary that that the WWE gave Austin, that WWE gave The Rock, that gave Triple H.
They basically gave him
gave Okada.
They gave him the keys
now
to the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
So
it's his field, and he up to him to run with it and
I think he is.
Shows what he can do.
I think
I have faith in that. I think there's a lot of big things coming from Jay White. And for the people that are hating on Jay White, I've actually seen him live at War of the Worlds, and that was a great match. Big ups to Ospreay too. That was my first time ever seeing Ospreay live, and Jay White as well. Awesome, nothing but awesome things out of that match, and his persona there before the Bullet Club was top notch. It was something worth watching. So,
moving along.
Wait. A big mention out of this. I don't know if you're trying to move on to another event, but I have to speak about it. The Ishii and Suzuki match.
Yo, you want to talk about hard
punches and smacks galore? Bro, I haven't seen that much smacks and punches in the face in forever. I can't even remember the last time I've literally seen people just back and forth, elbows to the face, everything like
that's strong style.
The crazy thing was it wasn't even for a New Japan title.
They're just doing this like, hey,
it was for the RPW British Heavyweight Championship.
Nice.
And they had a great classic match.
Those two always go at it.
Yeah, they definitely.
They're the vets of New Japan, so they always have something to show and prove.
50 years old, man.
They're keeping up the original spirit of New Japan.
Speaking of Suzuki-kun, Zack Sabre Jr. had a match with Naito. Naito won.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
Two Destinos after that.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah, that was a really good match. That was a really good match.
What can you do after that?
So
your head is hurting.
New Japan Pro Wrestling had the Wrestle Kingdom conference where they announced some matches. They announced obviously Kenny Omega versus Tanahashi for the IWGP Heavyweight Champions. There's a 3-way tag team match going on. There is a junior IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion with Taga Ishimori and Kushida. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to the Bullet Club episode, you'll know who those guys are. And Jay White versus Okada got made official. But Jericho was saying that this match at the conference,
Is
Naito
not
versus Jericho got announced, and Jericho's like, nah.
Yeah, he's like, no rematch for Naito.
no.
I made you a star. I gave you your shine. Go get your fame somewhere else. That was a part of that promo after his match with Evil. You guys gotta go check that out. Really genuine stuff. He straight up saying, no, Naito, I gave you your shot. I beat you for your title. I gave you your shine. I'm done with you. Moving on next. So before we move on to anything else, who do you think, if the Naito thing doesn't pan out, which I think it is because it's already being promoted for Wrestle Kingdom, I think Jericho's going to be put in a position where he's going to be forced to accept the match. Yeah. But if Naito's not the one, who do you think should fill that shoe for Wrestle Kingdom?
Somebody else.
Ibushi. I can see Ibushi definitely taking that spot, trying to go for that title. That would be a fucking phenomenal.
That would be dope.
That'd be a phenomenal match.
That would be, that really would. Kota Ibushi currently right now does not really have a storyline.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, he does, but not like a. He was in a Super Junior tag team.
So, do you guys got any thing you want to say about Power Struggle?
Oh,
going on?
Let's bring up some matches up. The Bullet Club, Tonga, and Robbie defeated Great Bash and Kushida.
You watched that much?
Yeah.
Ishimori interfered, hit Kushida with his crutch after the match.
And he was faking the injury.
Yeah, he was faking the injury, basically. And afterwards, Ishimori challenged Kushida for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. That's gonna be a great match.
And they announced that.
Back on Tonga though, that man is looking shiny. What the titles that man got right now?
Yeah, they have the 6-man.
Everybody's talking about Jay White, but let's go back to who started recruiting again. Who actually brought Bullet Club back to the forefront?
The OG.
Yeah, so he's looking shiny right now. Check
the bad boy.
Keep your eyes on Tonga.
Yeah, so they have the 6-man New Japan IWGP, and they also have the heavyweight tag team champion in Tonga. So yeah, they looking real
shiny
over there. Real, you know what I'm saying? They shining.
So up next we have Survival of the Fittest. We got a Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and this was the next night right after Power Struggle. Or no matter of fact, wasn't it the same day? It was. I think it was kind of the same day.
No. It was.
You know, New Japan in the hours.
Yeah, it was a couple days. It was within the. I don't know. Couple days.
It was within the same weekend. I know it was the next day or not the same day, but we have Survival of the Fittest with Ring of Honor.
So just in case if you're unaware with Survival of the Fittest, Survival of the Fittest is the annual tournament by Ring of Honor. For this year's event, the winners had to be designated for tournament matches, and the winners would advance to a 6-man elimination match.
So this is kind of like a King of the Ring, but culminating in a 6-man elimination match, pretty much.
Yes,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And the winner would receive a future World Heavyweight Championship match.
I'm a little confused by that. The only reason I'm a little confused by that because on the they had the Sea of Honor tournament on the Cruise of Jericho, and Flip Gordon won that, and that was for the Ring of Honor Championship, and that was that's set on that wasn't just like a Cruise Jericho thing. That was the Ring of Honor talk about that in their continuity, that's a thing. So I guess it just had you said it's an annual thing, so yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they both have a shot at the world title. Whoever it is.
Jay Lethal's had that belt for a minute. He's had that belt for a minute. Jay
deserves it.
Yeah, he's.
Jay Lethal's a vet at this point at Ring of Honor.
In the match he had actually at Survival of the Fittest, him and Jeff Cobb versus SCU versus Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian. Actually, that match was beast. Oh my gosh, those match. That's definitely. I definitely give that a 4-star on the Stone Cold on the 316 rating scale because those guys. I didn't realize that Scorpio Sky uses a V trigger. They don't call it a V trigger, but he does it, and it's awesome.
Alright, so let's just go down the tournament matches. Christopher Daniels defeated the Beer City Bruiser. Hangman Page defeated Dalton Castle. Jonathan Grissom defeated Tracy Williams. Guerrero Maya Jr. defeated Andrew Everett and Flip Gordon, and PJ Black defeated Luchasaurus. Marty Scurll defeated Silas Young and Stuka Jr. And it was Marty Scurll, PJ Black, Maya, Grissom,
Black, for
Page,
people not
and
familiar,
Daniels in the final
that's
elimination
Justin
match.
Gabriel.
Nice.
And that man still looks fucking ripped.
Yeah, he got better. Yeah, he's in better shape than he was when he was in WWE.
Yeah, PJ Black.
Nice. I would like to see that match with Dalton Castle and Hangman Page.
So other matches included Madison Rain defeated Dr. Britt Baker, DMB.
For those who don't know who Dr. Britt Baker is, that's Miss
That's Adam
Bebe.
Cole's baby.
That's Miss Bebe.
That's Adam Cole's baby.
Adam Cole's baby.
Oh, you need that. I don't know why we don't have that soundbite. Why do we not have the Adam Cole soundbite? Yeah, all right, keep going. That's Miss Bebe.
I think you made the list for not
The
having
Kingdom defeated the Elite, Cody, Matt, and Nick Jackson for the 6-man tag team championship.
Nah, this is not really surprising to me. The fact that the Elite dropped the titles. I think that, at this point, drop it now, build up, finish out rivalries, whatever they got going on, and they're about to move on and do their own thing. So they're already in that passing the torch phase. The titles are going.
That's
So
not really passing the torch. It's
I mean, what else can you call it? They gotta give it up to. They gotta give it up to the next guard. Them guys, listen. They just saw the power of how they can use their fame and notoriety to get money.
I know, but
they're already planning all in 2 and 3. So if it's not their own promotion, they're going to where the money is at.
That's why they're trying to charge as much as they can for probably the Ring of Honor contracts. That's why they're trying to wait it out. That's probably a good.
I mean, that's a good business strategy. At the end of the day, it's not out of the norm for them to do things like that. But at this point in their career, they're just too big to do this kind of foreshadowing to a WWE run or foreshadowing to maybe their own business venture.
Yeah.
To go back and say, hey, we're in Ring of Honor. I'm gonna stick to this until the Elite confirm what they're doing. I'm gonna stick to this. They're doing their own brand. If not, they're going to WWE.
The Elite are their own thing.
But we'll talk about that when we get to being the Elite.
Yeah.
So continue with the Survival of the Fittest.
All right, so Jay Lethal and Jeff Carr defeated SoCal Uncensored, SCU, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, and Marty Scurll defeated Christopher Daniels, Hangman Page, PJ Black, Jonathan Grissom, and Maya Jr. And Maya Jr. defeated Black. Grissom defeated Page. Black defeated. Black. Wait. I'm saying it wrong.
You saying what wrong?
I'm saying it wrong. PJ Black eliminated Maya Jr.
Okay.
Jonathan Grissom was eliminated by Hangman Page. Marty Scurll was defeated PJ Black. Hangman Page was eliminated by Christopher Daniels, and then Christopher Daniels was eliminated by Marty Scurll. So
right now I'm on Marty Mark, so I'm happy for Marty. He's kind of the one out of the league that kind of gets like left out or like pushed to the side, kind of. And I've been dying.
Really?
Yes, I feel that way, and that's how it's portrayed. That's how it's portrayed on being the Elite.
I feel like a lot of Elite fans.
I think he has a lot of potential to really go into this villain.
A lot.
This villain gimmick even further without the Elite. So since he's not a part of the 5 that's leaving with them, big things for Marty. I think he's gonna be the face
of Ring of Honor. That's what he has.
Yeah, his gimmick is together, and not only that, he's charismatic. He's funny as hell. Yeah. He's one of the best parts of being the Elite episodes to me. Is. So I'm definitely happy he won this tournament. I'm definitely happy he's getting that title match.
Speaking of the Elite, I'm thinking of having a party on January 1st. I was wondering if you guys could come.
I'm sorry, I can't commit.
What do you mean you can't commit?
I don't know what I'm doing.
What about you, Rich?
I think he's giving that as
Really? Really?
So,
Yeah, I think he's been giving you
what's
that.
going on? What do we have next?
So, we have, who was it? Cody and them lost the titles.
Yeah.
What was the main event?
The main event.
The
The main
survival
event.
of the fittest.
Didn't JD do?
That was the
Already
main
got to
event.
that.
That was the main event.
Yeah,
The-
survival
Oh,
of the fittest.
Marty capped off the main event.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So those were the two pay-per-views for the weekend that just passed, and now we can get into some news and rumors and the goings-ons in wrestling.
The news, rumors, and innuendos.
Yes, sir. So first off, let's start this off by saying rest in peace to Jose Lothario.
Rest in
For
peace.
old school like WWF fans, you might remember him as a big component in the build-up for Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania when
That was
Shawn
Shawn Michaels'
first captured the WWF title.
WrestleMania. That was
The
my
boyhood
first
dream
WrestleMania.
storyline.
That was my first WrestleMania. Right
That
there.
was, he was a heavy influence on that storyline.
Yep.
and
Trained him.
I remember vividly. It was perfect. The video packages of him training Shawn Michaels and legitimately he did help train Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, they
Said he
taught him the super kick.
he taught Shawn Michaels the super kick. And for everybody who knows HBK, loves HBK, we know he tunes that baby up, and that's how he finishes every match. So rest in peace to Jose Lothario, and condolences to his family.
Definitely.
So, on an interesting note, we found out that the WWE bought the tape library to the WWC. For people who don't
Really?
know what WWC is the World Wrestling Council. It's a promotion based in Puerto Rico, created by Carlos Colon, the father of Carlito Colon and Primo Colon, and the uncle of Epico Colon, out of the Colon family. And this guy was a legendary wrestler, both in Puerto Rico and the United States. A lot of legends ran through the WWC. It's actually still active to this day, and people like Abdullah the Butcher, and a lot of the people from the Ruthless Aggression era, Shelton Benjamin, a lot of people have come up and actually wrestled in WWC. So now we'll be able to see that on the network.
That's great.
So the more the merrier. I actually enjoy going on the network and running back to old stuff. I'm still in the midst of rewatching the entire WCW Nitro Monday Night Wars. I kind of started around when Hogan first joined, and I'm full-fledged deep into the 5th, 6th, 7th member joining the NWO at this point. So it's always good to go back, and I'm glad we're gonna have something for WWC. Being Puerto Rican myself, that's a big plus. So I get to see that history for myself. So that's a good plus.
Yeah, man. Zach Sabre Jr. son is making his Ring of Honor debut against John Grisham. John Grisham is a monster. If you're listening to this podcast, you more than likely you know who John Grisham is. He's a beast. So him and Zach Sabre Jr. Zach Sabre Jr. wrestles like he's like an octopus when he wrestles. He just like you think he has more than just one arm because like the way he just like tangles you up and just like he tangles you up. He can submit you out of anywhere, like literally out of any move. He can reverse it and turn it into a submission. So that's gonna be an interesting clash of styles. What else we got on the news?
So the Bucks kind of gave a statement as to why
The Bucks
they weren't
of
a part.
Youth, yeah.
They gave a little statement as to why they didn't join the Junior Tag League for New Japan. Money. They said money, and not only that, the tour runs through the holiday season, so they felt it wasn't enough money, and it clashed with them being with their family. It wasn't worth losing that time. So that's the reason the Bucks are not in the Junior League. Also, not surprising, like I said.
Honestly, the Bucks don't need to be in the Junior League.
But you're the best. You're the best tag team in the world. So you have to continue that phase, especially if you're still in the promotion that's running the Junior Tag League. I think even if you're on the verge of leaving, you should still lose to someone in that tournament. If you're not gonna, lose in the beginning. You don't want to do the full tour. Lose in the beginning. just join.
Yo,
Give
honestly,
give a team. The team who's gonna win that tournament should, by all means, have beaten the Bucks. It would have been cool to see.
I feel the Bucks. It's not enough money. The Bucks are big. The Bucks at this point, the elite. Honestly, for the money that they brought and the attention that they brought to New Japan
Yeah, but
and all that,
I feel that. But at the end of the day, sometimes especially in this business, sometimes you just gotta do it to help the other.
New Japan has the money. That's the thing. They have the money. It's not like they don't have the money.
But you don't think New Japan right now is hearing? Why would I pour more money into the Bucks when they're deliberately saying they're leaving, and they're trying to reach out to people in WWE and trying to get people over?
I mean, we don't know
New
that.
Japan.
This is just what they're insinuating. We're not there in the back. We don't really know what's really going on. Like, we just kind of just know by what they're saying on being the elite and what Uncle Meltzer might say and all that. But we don't really know what's going on.
Well, of course not. But based on the information that's given, backstage rumors and what the elite is tweeting and saying themselves and giving it these interviews, from what I gather, they really on the verge of just pulling out, doing their own thing, and it's what do they have left? My only critique is, hey, you have to take a dive sometimes to bring up the next tag team. It's always better to leave the place better off than when you left it. You know what I'm saying?
I think they definitely have.
They definitely are. I'm not taking nothing away from them. They definitely attribute it to the growth of New Japan and attribute it to the spotlight that's being put on them. There's no arguing that. But
I think the elite are going to be everywhere next year. To be honest with you, I think the elite. I think we're going to see the elite in New Japan, Ring of Honor.
I mean, they're doing that now.
Everything, but like on
mine is Impact, but they're doing that now.
I think they're going to be over.
So why allude to something different and like career changing as a group? It doesn't make sense.
You know why? You know what we're doing right now?
What are we doing?
Sitting around talking about it. You know what other marks are sitting around doing? Talking about it. You know other marks sitting around other places doing it? Talking about it. And other places across the pond, they're talking about it. For this right here.
They have a lot more bigger things. They made us talk about All In, and now they want us to talk about their next step. You're right. That's what they're doing is working.
It's perfect.
What they're doing is working, but it has to be bigger than what you're doing now. That's how I see it. Coming off of All In has to be bigger than what you're doing now. So I would have said no less.
No, I feel you. I'm 100%.
That's why they're trying to get that money.
Yeah.
So, still on the topic of being, the elite and everybody in that. Well, not at the episode yet, but Hangman actually made a Twitter statement finally addressing Bullet Club. He wants to no longer be considered Bullet Club. He wants no affiliation with the logos or brand, and he expects his fans, true fans of Hangman, to go with him regardless of what logo he wears on his shirt. He made it official. He is the elite. Further stamps, if anybody's still questioning this Bullet Club thing.
But Matt made it official on a cruise to Jericho though.
Definitely.
They've been.
Yeah, this is the first time Hangman spoke for himself.
Yeah.
And cleared it up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for those who don't know, Matt, when we were on a cruise to Jericho, they were doing a talk of Jericho live, and the entire elite were up there, and Matt says it's not just us and Kenny, like we are all the elite, and we're not part of Bullet Club anymore. So.
We have off the topic of being of the elite. We have Gail Kim caught up in a little controversy, feeling like she needs to explain herself. Basically, when the Evolution pay-per-view came about, Gail Kim makes some comments about possible returns, people asking her about, and the company basically being WWE. She pretty much said she wouldn't return to a WWE because there's a lot of racist vibes back there. The first time she's ever really heard a racial slur towards her people was in the WWE, and that's one of the things that attributed to her leaving and her, staying away pretty much. Gail Kim is a phenomenal wrestler. She's done big things for Impact, and it's unfortunate the backstage politics, a lot of old school mentality, and WWE just seems to be caught up in these scandals and caught up in these.
She just came out and said this?
These things. Yeah, she said that like a week ago, but she came out a few days ago, maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago, with an official statement trying to clear up, because people were giving her backlash on the fact that in her comment she said she mentioned they as opposed to WWE specific. So people gave her backlash on the fact that you're making a blanket statement of racism, so you're kind of putting everybody in this bubble and calling everybody racist, which is not the case. So she cleared up her statements and said, she does know that there's people there that have great moral value and do things for the community and actually are great people. She should have not made the statements, but that was her experience. And it is what it is. A lot of people have experienced racism in every part of the world, every company, more than likely.
Jazz is the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. If you remember Jazz, she used to be in WWE.
Yeah.
She said straight up that they don't know how to market black wrestlers. She didn't just say black women. She just said black wrestlers, period.
And that's stupid. But unfortunately, it's true because we have only a few black World Heavyweight Champions. The major black World Heavyweight Champion that broke through was, of course, The Rock, and nobody's reached his level. But they really haven't given a chance for a lot of minorities to.
I personally don't like.
And it's not just black. It's like
Hispanic wrestlers.
It's Hispanic wrestlers.
I don't like how that stereotype.
The Clones are the Clones. Speaking of WWC, earlier, the Clones are a phenomenal tag team. They're gonna be a legendary tag team because the Cologne family is up there with the Guerreros, and the Colognes have been doing what? They had that. I personally was offended when the Colognes were the not the Conquistadors, the bullfighter gimmick.
That's the Matadors.
The Matadors. I was like, first of all, what the fuck is this? And really, you're gonna dress up the Hispanic guys in this bullshit gimmick? They should have just left them how they were when they were the undisputed tag team champions. Those are the Colognes. You don't have to touch that. It's true. They don't know how to book races because a lot of things is based on race. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's true. They do stereotype. We have the Arab and Jinder Mahal that's, enemy to America. They always have
We have the Japanese guy, Shinsuke Nakamura.
They don't know how to book Shinsuke right now. And it always leads me to that question of, because whoever is booking that the way they booking these minorities, they need to get new people. Yeah. Because it's a travesty to a lot of people, and the Shinsuke's and Mark Henry. Like Mark Henry was a person that should have never got his title that late. He was the world's strongest man going into WWE, going into WWF. He went through some bullshit phases.
He went through
the Nation of Domination was great, but then you follow it up with Sexual Chocolate, and then it's a lot of that's a full depth episode. I feel like we could get into, but it's true. I agree. And
let's move away from that.
Gail Kim, we understand you. We know where you're coming from. I think people who took that offensively, take the plug. Take the plug out your ass, because I feel like it's just an overly sensitive, overly politically correct, situation going on in society where they pick and choose when to be politically correct. Yeah. Gail Kim, we understand. So, getting off that, there's a lot of superstar injuries going on too. People working hurt.
A lot of superstars.
There's rumors of Braun Strowman having 3 nagging injuries. Maybe that's attributing to
Uncle
this
Dave
little.
Also said that his knees is shot.
I mean,
being that big
and that F5,
doing everything he's been doing, that's why I think they need to lay off the schedule, have a rotational schedule, and in the last episode we talked about healthcare for wrestlers and everything. Like, it's a lot of things they can do, and
they should. They should do their regular schedule, but the week that they have pay-per-views, it should just be Raw and SmackDown, and then they have that week off, period. And then they just come into town and just do this.
I feel like the only people who should be at every show for their brand should be the champions. Everyone else should be.
I don't want to see the champion every week.
It should be, as far as presence, the champion is the show. That's how wrestling's built. It's supposed to be built, and that's why New Japan is a little superior in a lot of aspects, because they focus on those titles. Those titles mean something. Those are the focus for every rivalry. The storylines that are coming out in New Japan matches, they're the added bonus.
Yep.
The titles mean everything over there. So I expect the same thing from a company as prestigious as WWE and with the legacy that they have.
WWE is doing the flat. Like, one thing, when I feel like I look at WWE from like a business perspective, I understand what they do from a business perspective.
No, completely. No one has done what WWE's done ever.
It's a show.
Whether it's any sport.
The longest.
Any sport. They blowing records, they blowing money, like it's crazy. So other than Braun,
but just stick with that just for a little bit longer. When they move to Fox, it's gonna be different, because Fox is gonna want
Fox wants the New Japan style from the rumors that they say.
They want a more sports orientated product instead of kind of just this. WWE has the right ideas, but honestly, they need help with nobody talks like wrestlers. I say this all the time. Nobody talks like wrestlers. They have these really contrived things, and what I'm really trying to say to you, AJ, and these kind of weird tones and emotions.
But it's the script. It's the script. Back then when WWE shined the most, and the era that built the foundation for everything they're doing now for this billion-dollar company, they were given, like you said, bullet points. But they had the creative freedom to say, hey, this is what the notes you got to hit. Go and do you. Their personality shine through. We would never get a Rock if he was fully scripted. Because we had that fully scripted Rock, and you booed him. Die, Rocky, die. So
they told him to die. They told him to
die. Rocky, die. That's how bad they felt Rock was when he was a scripted babyface.
Yo, for all those people that were telling Rocky to die back then, and now you're cheering for him then?
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember watching. I remember watching him debut at Madison Square Garden. That's how long I've been watching. I remember watching him debut. But anyway, the people that were saying die.
You know what happens?
You know what happens when you want somebody to die?
Focus. Do you know what happens?
You know
what happens? What happens?
You know what happens?
I just want to know. I want to know.
You know what
Tell
happens?
I want to know.
Give it to him.
I wanna know.
Give it to him now.
Tell him Rocky died.
Give it to him.
You know what happens? You know what happens?
Tell him. You all made the list. You all made the list.
God damn it.
You know, you older generation guys. Die, Rocky, die. Anyways, besides Braun, we hear that Lashley is also still dealing with nagging injuries, and you know, and that's a testament to these guys too, because Lashley is a beast right now. He's doing good things, and so besides the nagging injuries, I feel like, you know, they need to relax the schedule a bit. Moving off that, we have Matt Hardy, who also was out because of injuries. He actually made an return in the live event. So, you know, his future's still kind of on
I've spoken
on the fritz.
Yeah.
We still don't know what's going on. Maybe his injury should be delete.
I have traveled to the broken universe and spoken to Brother Matt. Yeah.
He's got the wisdom of the multiverse.
Yes. He put some woken wisdom for me, and he told me as his return maybe shall be imminent.
So speaking of Matts, we have Matt Riddle, who made his NXT debut recently.
That's my guy right there.
He's trying to come into WWE with a splash because he's calling out the Universal Champion.
Yo,
He's saying he wants to be the one to retire Brock.
If you don't know who Matt Riddle is, just go YouTube Matt Riddle versus Keith Lee. Matt Riddle and Evolve.
Bro.
Like, Matt Riddle is the man.
Bro.
Matt Riddle is the bro.
You know, that's
That's
definitely a big
bros.
statement coming from he's not a rookie, obviously, has an MMA background, all that. He knows what he's doing, but a rookie nonetheless in NXT. Big things to just go straight for the Universal Champion.
Yeah, he's a bro.
Why not?
Yeah, why not, bro?
Speaking of the Universal Champion, let's head on to Raw. There's a lot of things happening on Raw. Now, this is the first Raw coming off of the horrible, disgusting, brutal, bottom-feeding, trash bag of a pay-per-view. Crown Jewel.
Oh, man. They don't even talk about it, so I don't even think we should talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they literally...
I feel like...
They literally barely talk
I feel
about
like I should never let them forget how horrible that shit was. Because at the end of the day, we felt like... Pay-per-view was horrible.
I feel like it was... I just feel like it was the worst pay-per-view that I've ever seen.
Check out our Crown Full episode where we
Full.
break down Crown Jewel and the reason why it was a horrible pay-per-view.
Wow.
But
Great
we start
episode.
off the show with Baron Corbin and the WWE stars out. They're trying to they're trying to start off the build towards Survivor Series, and I gotta say Survivor Series is starting to shape up pretty good. We'll run down Survivor Series matches at the end of the Raw and SmackDown segments. But we start with Corbin in the ring, and he's pretty much telling them about who's gonna the Survivor Series pay-per-view, how they're gonna break down the teams.
Wait. You mean that Raw started with the acting general manager in the ring?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, that's not surprising at all. Anyways.
Sarcasm for podcast listeners.
Yeah. So, he pretty much automatically puts Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, first two people in the Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown match. And this is coming off of what he did to Braun Strowman. And he mentions...
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry. We got to hold up for a second. Because Braun, WWE, I'm going ahead and say it.
Braun looks horrible now.
Yo, man, they botched Braun, man.
Braun looks horrible now.
Braun.
Did you see the way he ran?
His aura. They've taken his aura away from him. All right.
Yeah.
So, if this
you
is the
can't
idea-
be a monster among men and a little belt to the back of the head
And this
fucks
is
up your whole
WWE's
entire
fault.
match.
This is WWE's fault.
This is a man who pulls Titantrons down.
Bro,
This is a man who lifts
he
ambulances.
flipped over an ambulance, bro.
What more
He's a monster.
can you build this man to be a monster, and then he gets...
It's
one
the
little-
same thing I always say. WWE, just do it better. If this is the idea you were going for, I feel like this should have maybe been like a backstage segment.
I felt like
where Baron Corbin is, or if you're gonna do it, like,
they took the Superman tattoo on his arm too literal, and they brought like a little bit of kryptonite in that belt, smacked him one time, and he was out for the count.
that was.
I mean, he did take
Makes
five.
sense.
He did take 5 F5s, but still,
You buried-
horrible.
you
You
buried
buried your
Braun-
monster.
you buried him
He's
by
not a
doing
monster no more. Not only that, my man Drew McIntyre has been kicking him straight in the face. So looking like the real monster. Book Drew. We'll get to Drew, but Drew and Dolph
They've taken away his aura.
are automatically in the team. Corbin names Braun as a part of the team. Now, at this point, Kurt Angle comes out and interrupts, and he says that the Crown Jewel match pretty much lit a fire under him. He wants to be the captain of the team, and he has the itch to wrestle again or whatever. Corbin gives him. Well, he ends up challenging Corbin to a match, and Corbin pretty much accepts at that point. Gives him what he wants. Braun finally shows up, chases Corbin out. Corbin's running around.
Yo,
This man.
Wait, hold on.
This is the one thing about Braun, and this is why it pissed me the fuck off that they even booked that match that way in Crown Jewel. That big boot to the security guard.
Yo, in my notes, I wrote first security guard just died because the way he kicked him down.
That was an amazing big boot.
Why did he do
That kick was just like Charlie Murphy kicking Rick James
Seriously?
across the room into a mirror.
Real.
Like, he kicked the shit out of me.
That shit wasn't even
kicked the
funny.
shit out of me,
Why did
Charlie.
he kick him like that? Yo? That shit
Yo.
was cool, fam.
Big ups to the security this week on Raw. You finally took a crazy bump.
That shit was crazy, yo. He didn't even kick him like that.
That was a definite highlight.
Yo.
To basically continue, Braun Strowman, the Septus, whether he's on the team, is up in the air, and that's pretty much the segment for the opening Raw. Going on, we have Ruby Riott in a rematch. Alexa Bliss puts together. She's trying to judge who. Alexa Bliss is the captain for the women's team, and she's trying to figure out who, pretty much
we sound like
who's going to be a part of it.
We sound like dicks because we're saying it like this. The only reason we're not saying this for pop.
This is the
tracks,
third or
it's
fourth
not- it's
time
not-
we see
it
this
has-
match.
It has nothing to do with because they're women. It's just because of the way they're booking this shit. It's just like the way they're booking is like the same thing we literally say every night. So Natalia Natalia comes out there with the glasses, and she was going to dedicate the match to her dad because it was the glasses that her dad wore. And in the middle of the match, they were actually doing it good. And in the middle of the match, Natalia has, I'm pretty sure, Sarah Logan in a sharpshooter. She's about to tap out.
Yeah.
Ruby Riott takes the glasses. She's on the outside and breaks the glasses. Now that was actually dope. The way that Ruby Riott did it, the way that Natalia reacted, it was a really good segment. But then, for some weird reason, the referee just stopped doing his job in the middle of the match because Natalia went outside.
Started crying.
She basically lost.
And Bailey hugged her because that's what Bailey does.
Yeah.
Bailey hugs people. And Sasha
Hey,
was
Bailey's
there.
hugs are healing.
And
Just
Sasha
ask
was
Finn
there,
Balor.
you know, just being a boss. And they were all there crying. And then the Riot Squad just Thanos away. Thanos snapped away. And
Yeah, I mean,
the match never ended.
good story going forward. You know, that's kind of rough to use Natty's dad so soon after his passing.
And if they actually
But
could have
he'll
done
shit.
it right.
He'll shit.
They could have done it right, but they just, I mean, move on. Let's just
Yeah, Natty had this like spit coming out. It was crazy.
It reminds me of Owen Hart this time when he beat
reminds me
Bret
when-
when he beat Bret Hart and he beat Bret. We had this big glob of spit.
Remember when-
And, oh gosh.
Remember when Kurt Angle won his WWE title for the first time? He had that booger hanging.
Oh, the super booger.
Or when Cena was talking on the mic, he spit on the mic. Remember?
He's like, I need a partner. I need The Rock. And he had
The
like
Rock.
He had like a big. Well, good
Go
gosh.
back to that segment, Rock versus Cena. That shit was hilarious. Oh, off topic.
So off topic.
But I'm lost. I'm lost right now.
Yo,
Ruby Riott, yeah. So
Yo,
that's how that segment
what about-
ended.
Okay, Seth Rollins comes out. I don't know if this is next song, but can we just jump to Seth Rollins?
Yeah,
This is like the best thing.
it is next up. So obviously Seth Rollins is
He comes out looking awesome. Okay, first off, Seth Rollins comes out with the
Okay.
tag team belts hanging off his neck.
he is the tag team champion.
Yeah,
He's
he's
the
a tag team champion.
No, he's the tag team
no,
champion.
Seth Rollins the tag team
Yeah,
champion.
Seth Rollins the tag team champion.
I thought I was a tag team.
No, he's the tag team
The
champion.
tag team champions.
That's who the tag team champion is.
So
That's who the tag team champion is.
he's left high and dry, and who the hell does he have to face? Who does he have to face?
He
By himself. This is the freaking workahorse.
he comes-
AOP.
Yeah.
Now, I'm happy for AOP.
This is one of the best
Andrew
handicap
It was
matches.
for the titles in the handicap match.
This is one of the best handicap matches I've ever seen. Seth Rollins is the man. He was holding it down. He was really giving them a hell of a match and making it look good. He was, Seth Rollins suicide dive when this hitting this guy, boom, just step up into Gurry, boom, go outside, just diving outside, throw this guy outside.
Yeah, we
dive
might have to
again, just
go back and
yeah,
rewatch.
that's definitely what.
But
Raw does. They always give Seth Rollins 20 to 25 minutes to just tear it down, to burn it down. They literally do because he.
You know what's funny?
That's what he does.
They gave him the gimmick of burn it down, and he was like, "What the hell? What is this?" Like, and it really reignited who he is. He burns it down every time he's in there.
We're watching wrestling, and just Randy Orton just came out of nowhere and just gave Rey Mysterio his arc.
Yeah, we're still watching the
He's
SmackDown.
it's Randy Orton, man.
From out of
I
nowhere.
love Ray's blue gear because it's like a throwback to his early WCW days.
Randy Orton is like, that's what you get for going to the Jericho Cruise without me.
And you completely forget. Yeah, I know, right? Randy Orton. Randy Orton probably really wanted to go too. Randy wanted to go.
So AOP ends up winning the Raw Tag Team titles. Finally, they have something to do.
They're about to go to Monster Run. They're about to go to Monster Run.
I don't see anybody on that
I
roster
don't really see.
unless Drew McIntyre is involved and Dolph Ziggler's involved.
Drew McIntyre's onto the Universal title.
I don't see anybody on Raw taking those titles from them anytime
They're
soon.
going to Monster Run.
Oh, those
That's
guys
exactly
are going to
what
be double
Vince
power
likes.
bombing people left and fucking right.
That's exactly what Vince likes. Vince likes big,
Well,
sweaty guys.
I don't know about the big sweaty guys part, but the huge monster look at this point, I agree. Crazy tag team. So moving forward, we got Elias up next, and there's only one universal truth.
There's only one.
Walk with Elias.
Elias is officially
Over.
He's officially over.
Over.
He has, and the thing I like about his face turn, it's just not straight into but the universe, and I do the usual shit that they do. It's natural.
He was already cool.
And he's still maintaining that little asshole flair he has.
He was already over when he was a quote unquote heel. He was already over.
So he goes against Dolph Ziggler.
Yo, his intro though with the walk with Elias though, and he was, oh my gosh, when he was talking about he was gonna get Oasis to reunite, because they were in Manchester and all that. So, oh my gosh, the walk to Elias and drumming at Seventh Generation.
That man he's next. Like, there's a lot of people that's next up, and I feel like they need to start pulling the trigger on these situations. They need to go back to the Attitude Era way of booking, where the first couple matches, they're the lower divisions. They're like the tag team divisions, the women's divisions, and the mid card titles. But the last couple matches of the card, it didn't matter if you was the champion or not. Everybody felt like a main event.
It's NXT. It's the NXT.
I'll take that back. The top to bottom, every match felt like a main event. And that's how they need to go back to booking these guys. And they need to pull the trigger on Elias with a run. They need to pull the trigger on Drew with a run. They got the guys.
Facts.
Elias ends up coming out on top of this match, and I feel like he's just gonna keep doing big things.
Definitely big things.
So
I hope he's in world title shot soon, if not an intercontinental.
they need to get this title off Brock as soon as possible.
Facts.
As soon as possible. But
it was
let's digress, because I don't even want to get into the Brock Lesnar problem again. Moving on, we have Nia Jax versus Ember Moon, and
that was
just
good
like
match.
I predicted, hashtag give Tamina a chance. They're giving her a chance, and it's looking like that chance is with Nia Jax. I told you, hashtag give Tamina a chance. They're doing the tag team thing. It looks like they're leading towards Nia Jax, and
Samoan
at the end of the
faction.
match, Nia Jax and Tamina end up beating down Ember Moon.
What?
I think this is, if it's not leading to tag team titles,
What?
I feel like it's gonna end up to a push for Ember Moon, which is what I'm hoping they're leading towards.
What?
I hope so too.
What?
Let's move on. So next up, you know who it is, right?
Who?
What is the man of the hour?
My man. The mom.
And it's
Yo, okay. So they're in the ring, right? And you know, Leo Rush is doing this thing, and Lashley, Leo tells Lashley to show everybody his new pose, and his new pose is him bending over
and pretty much giving the crowd his ass.
He's showing off his quads. It's so ridiculous. Oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. I mean, he's showing off his hamstrings. It's just, oh gosh, whatever. It's just such a dick move.
So
I love it.
Yeah, I like this new Lashley. And again, pull the fucking trigger. This is another guy who needs a run. He needs to be in that main event picture.
Bobby Lashley he came out against
he ends up coming out on top.
Against
Finn.
You didn't say he was wrestling, man.
He was wrestling,
man.
He was
No,
wrestling.
no.
Don't
Don't play that soundbite. Don't play that soundbite.
What you
This
mean?
is not who he was wrestling. That's not who he was wrestling.
He's the isn't he the
No.
real rocker?
Don't play that soundbite. No.
What?
That's Finn Balor. That guy that you're about to play is a completely different person. That person is long.
He's the-
gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's with
you want me to talk about
Yeah.
the Hugger?
the Hug Club.
The Hugger Club is for everyone. Hugs. This Finn Balor, well, he ends up losing tonight against Bobby Lashley, and
man.
Bobby Lashley was definitely dominant.
I can't stand this Finn, that weird dominator thing. I think it's so weird. Like
What, his move?
Yeah, that weird dominator.
Hey, that's
I don't like it.
Ron Simmons move.
I don't like it. I think you should do it. I think it should be like that spine buster into a spear, straight up.
Nah, that's I don't really like Lashley Spear, to be honest.
I don't like that. I don't. He can do something else, but I don't like his finish. I don't like his finish.
He should do a shooting star press.
It's weird.
Well, nobody looks like that man.
You're right.
Nobody smells like that man.
Nope.
Russell.
Nobody sweats like that man.
Nobody looks like Wayne Brady like that man. Anyways, he ends up beating the hell out of Finn Balor. Drew McIntyre ends up coming out. You think McIntyre's trying to make the save. He gets into Bobby Lashley's face, and they have that standoff. Lashley ends up backing out. This is one thing I didn't like. Who's booking this?
Well, Leo Rush was kind of telling him to come on, you know what I'm saying? Like Leo Rush was kind of come on, like another day. So
I mean, you gotta understand as a heel.
Lashley didn't really back down. Leo Rush was come on.
As a heel,
well, my initial viewing, it felt like he was backing down, and I was like, but Drew comes out. He starts offering the hand to Finn Balor. You think he's gonna join the Hugger Club?
Yep.
And then he just attacks Finn Balor.
Yeah, which I'm hoping for is not just going to be a blow off. I'm hoping that Finn Balor's going to want to get some revenge, and maybe Finn Balor might get into that. Maybe he might get into the upper echelon part of the card that he so really deserves. He really does. It's ridiculous that he's not there. It's a whole other discussion for another time. But
yeah, so this leads into the Kurt Angle match. And oh man, I've never seen a display of dominance and disrespect at the same time. I love it. Heel shit.
Yeah.
Heel shit. But he embarrassed Kurt Angle, like disrespected him, had him by the face, telling him you're nothing to me, you're worthless, you're an embarrassment. And hits him with the angle slam.
With the mean angle slam.
It looked great. The height, just
he put
come on.
Extra,
Drew McIntyre is about 7 feet, so or close to 7 feet at least.
Yeah, like 6'7".
Your man's had he had a tall ass angle slam. It looked just as good, if not better, than angle.
Yeah.
Just saying, but he dominated, and
They made him tap out to the.
oh man, Kurt, like it was like he was testing. He was even daring him. Like Drew would stick his leg out, like go ahead, go, jump for the ankle lock.
Yeah.
Go ahead, try it.
It was like
every time he'll try it, he'll beat down Kurt Angle, beat him down until he was on the mat.
Beat on his back.
This was dominance.
Yeah.
This is Drew McIntyre.
This is the way you book somebody. This is the way you book
Kurt Angle goes for the ankle lock finally, but no, gets kicked out of it. Drew Claymore kicks, like it's over. It's over. They were even questioning: is this Kurt Angle's retirement? Is this Kurt Angle's last match?
Yo.
And that ended Raw.
wow.
That was finally some good ass booking.
That
The
was-
way they booking Drew recently,
It's
amazing.
Yeah.
So, jumping off Raw, that was Raw for this week, and going back to that Kurt Angle thing, Kurt's on Twitter, and he's like, I would never forget this match. Like, let me see exactly what he. It was shocking, like the level of like disrespect. I wouldn't think, Kurt's at the end, but this made me think about it, and he's on Twitter saying this match will haunt me forever until I redeem myself. And at this point, we gotta question, like,
Hopefully
do we want to see Kurt go through this again?
No, hopefully it goes up. Hopefully come out into a storyline. If they just bury Kurt like this just for the sake of burying Kurt.
No, it's gonna go to a good storyline. And if anybody could pull out a great match out of Angle is Drew McIntyre. But
That would be awesome.
that was definitely it's good build up to a match, and hopefully we see that.
Yeah.
Next up for the week, of course, is SmackDown Live.
The A Show, SmackDown Live.
So
Or is it the B show?
What?
Or is it the B show?
No, SmackDown.
yeah,
is
that's a matter of opinion.
SmackDown is definitely the A Show. First, I want to say that was a boring episode of Raw.
It wasn't.
Besides the end, that was a really boring episode of Raw. We had the same things going on.
Oh, wait.
Bobby Lashley versus
Going
Finn
back,
Balor.
wow, we didn't even talk about Seth Rollins ending. Besides AOP winning the title, we got
Oh yeah.
Dean Ambrose
Dean
finally
Ambrose
showed up,
You know, come up there and spank them up real quick.
and
Smack
he's
them up
like,
real
"You
quick.
want to know why I did this? You want to know why?"
Huh?
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 Seth is on his feet.
Huh?
DDT.
I don't know.
You're not gonna find out this
No
week
answer
on
to
Raw, so we can't even tell you why. Maybe next week on This Week is Wrestling we have that answer.
Why? Here's why.
But back to SmackDown, and maybe it's the A show,
The A Show.
maybe it's the B show. That's
Maybe it's
a
the
matter
C show.
of opinion.
I think SmackDown is
Maybe it's the
definitely
C
A
show.
I think Raw was pretty kind of boring this week, to be honest with you. Before we go to
The last couple weeks, in my opinion, Raw's been the A show.
Or is it the C show?
Raw's been the A show, and I feel like the only thing that's made it decline is this Universal title situation. But they've been booking Drew and them and a few people really good. They got Apollo Crews actually getting a push finally, and they got some things working. They cooking over there.
Yeah.
SmackDown, this episode of SmackDown was definitely a high point.
SmackDown opened up. Who did SmackDown open up with? Of course. Did you think it opened up?
We had it with
Let's do
Paige.
multiple choice. Does SmackDown open up with a match, Paige, or Shane McMahon?
Well, we get both.
I know, right?
Paige and Shane McMahon.
God
You think
for-
it's going to start with a
God
match?
forbid it opens up
Listen,
with
that
a
is a
match.
rarity. Anyways, you know the
Okay.
first 20 minutes,
I
15
know,
minutes
I know. I
is
just like
segments.
That's
But-
like stir the pot. That's what I'm doing.
Paige,
Podcast is what I'm doing. I'm stirring the pot right now. Stirring the pot.
Paige basically congratulates Shane McMahon on his win.
She brought out Shane McMahon, the
Yeah.
best in the world.
Shane comes out.
And then the crowd started chanting CM Punk.
Oh Lord!
Oh my god.
Well, you know what? I thought this was going to turn into a heel thing with Shane McMahon. With Shane like,
No.
yeah, I am the best in the world. But he came out humbly said, no,
He's not.
I'm not the best in
He's
the
not
world.
the best in the world, and I feel like that's the best thing. I don't want Shane in a wrestling storyline.
Nope.
For what? We have Samoa Joe, we have AJ Styles, we have Daniel Bryan, we have The
so
Miz,
much
we have Andrade
talent.
St. Yamas, we have the returning Rey Mysterio, we have Randy Orton. Come on. Should I keep going? Why the fuck are we having Shane McMahon?
Because he's
That's
the best in the world, AJ.
He's not the best in the world.
He is the best in the world.
His name is not Chris Jericho.
Right. Exactly.
Man is the best.
Yeah, and
in
for those
the world.
CM Punk marks that still to this day are chanting CM Punk when it's been 5 years that he hasn't been in the WWE, after it's been about 3 or 4 of those years that he straight up gave up wrestling and disrespected it on multiple occasions. Continue chanting CM Punk. I'm looking towards the future. Anyways,
They always chant CM Punk. It's like,
it's
what
stupid.
now? They
No,
always chant
it's
CM
stupid.
Punk.
It's stupid at this point. Chant for the guys who are there.
Yeah,
Chant for the guys who are
like
still
Shane McMahon, the best
respecting
in
the business that they love. You can be disenfranchised with WWE all you want. Don't disrespect wrestling.
Let's chant for Shane McMahon, the best in the world.
Anyways, yeah, so Shane says he's not. They start building towards the Survivor Series match. And who you think is the captain?
I'm going to have to pull up Corey Graves right now. Mandy Rose is on.
Oh, she got you. Mandy Rose got you out of slow motion.
I'm going to let you guys go ahead and handle that. You guys
Still watching SmackDown. He's getting distracted by Mandy Rose.
You guys go ahead and handle that. Focus. You and AJ go ahead and handle it. I'm going to go ahead and just
I'll handle this. Miz and Daniel Bryan are the co-captains, but it wasn't until
I'm back.
it wasn't until Daniel Bryan was first announced as the captain, and Miz interrupts. And he's like, "I'm disappointed." He's still selling the little kayfabe injury he had at Crown Jewel, and I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, is what Miz says, and you know he cuts a great promo. He gets himself into the match. He becomes co-captain, but now he has to deal with Daniel Bryan.
Wait, hold on. The Miz is 2/3 of the best in the world.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a fact. That's a fact. That's exactly what he said. I'm 2/3 the best in the world. 2 of the matches were won by the Miz. So, you know, of course, Shane McMahon said, "This is not mine. This is all of you on SmackDown. This represents blah 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 blah."
blue, that's why.
And the usual stick. So now the Miz and Daniel Bryan have to coexist, and basically they spend the majority of this episode trying to hunt down champions. Trying to hunt down people for the team, and they're bickering back and forth.
The Miz and Daniel Bryan are awesome together.
Yeah, they're great.
So
They really are. They're funny. They're gonna be a tag team one day.
there's gonna be
That sounds weird, but one day.
there's gonna be a tag team
It's gonna be funny.
from SmackDown and tag teams from Raw facing off with each other, and the next match, the actual match, the first match on Raw, was the Usos versus the New Day, and the winners become the captains of that team.
That was such a good match. Oh,
Great match, great
man.
back and forth. The Usos ended up on top of that, and the one thing I love about the Usos is
Hold on. I just want to say this. Another reason why SmackDown is the A show is because Raw has 3 hours. This is 2 hours. It's so hard to have a good SmackDown match because
Yep.
of the way they block their commercials. I just wanted to say that. Another reason why SmackDown is a great match.
SmackDown doesn't suffer from block commercials because when it's a match, they have it. They have the match showing during commercials, which is something that Raw doesn't do.
Sometimes.
So if you really think about it, they actually maximizing their full 2 hours as compared to Raw fully maximizing a 3 hour. We're really getting like a 2.5 hour show with commercials filtered in.
That's it. We have to have.
So-
we have to have a show. Who's better? Which one is a better show? Raw,
You know, you got to think about the logistics of it
I
too.
firmly believe that SmackDown Live is definitely the A show.
Or is it the She Show?
No, it's definitely the A show.
You know what? It's the
Definitely
C
the A
show.
It's definitely the A
It's
show.
the C show. The
Definitely
A
the
show is NXT.
Speaking
Boom.
of, let's do it. Are we doing SmackDown? We're done with SmackDown.
No, we're not done with SmackDown. Of course, we're not done with SmackDown.
No, I mean watching.
Oh, no, not watching it. You can change. You can put NXT on. But with this SmackDown we're trying to run down. Next up, so the Usos end up coming out on top. We didn't finish that.
Yeah. Usos win.
Great match, great back and forth like always. And
Ish.
like I was saying, this is why I love the Usos, because the Usos give you that rugged, like, we're here to throw down and give you the match of a lifetime right now. But they give their competitors their due respect, and this is exactly what this segment was about. They end up becoming the captains, and instantly, New Day, you guys are always, giving us the best matches. We've been running through SmackDown with each other, fighting each other, and you guys got our respect. You guys are on our team. So it's the Usos and the New Day representing SmackDown in the SmackDown tag teams versus Raw tag teams, and we still don't really know who's on the opposite end of that on Raw, and the teams that mostly got justified was on SmackDown.
They don't know. They just thought of it.
The next segment is Becky Lynch. And we always love when Becky Lynch comes out.
The man.
We don't have to really get into detail. Cuts another phenomenal promo, going against Ronda's promo from the Raw the night before. And they both cut phenomenal promos against each other. Ronda Rousey has definitely gotten her best work on the mic recently. I think stepping off of the Nikki Bella thing, she's really gotten into her own.
The rumor is that she's writing her own promos. That's the rumor. But Becky, the champ, came out there talking that hot fire as she always does, and she got so riled up. The champ got so riled up. The man got so riled up because she's the man. She got so riled up that she wanted to fight right after that. She said, you know what? I gotta fight somebody right now. And who came out? Except for the Twisted Sister of NXT, Nikki Cross came out.
Nikki Cross.
I don't think this is a SmackDown debut. I think they were in Manchester. She's kind of a hometown girl. I don't think this is.
I completely disagree.
They did the same thing with Pete Dunne.
I completely disagree.
In the UK last year, they had him come out.
Sanity for the past about 3-4 weeks have been putting videos on their IG and on their Twitter, teasing towards something building. This was the last promo video they did on Twitter leading into Nikki Cross's debut. I believe Sanity's at 100%. I believe Nikki Cross has been called up, and she had her first match against the man, the champ, Becky Lynch, and I believe Sanity's 100% now. I don't think they'll call her up and not use her and throw her in the Sanity stable. If they were just using her for the pop of, hey, it's Nikki Cross, she's from this is her hometown, I think they would have left Sanity out of it. And, giving the fans 100% Sanity, just to tear that apart when at this point, Sanity really hasn't done much on SmackDown to garner enough attention. This is the springboard for Sanity. Moving from here, they can not only dominate the men, but now they can dominate the women.
So hopefully you're right, because I wouldn't be surprised.
So they had a good back and forth match, of course. But of course, the champ, the man Becky Lynch, comes out on top. Whew. Next up was Rey Mysterio versus Andrade.
This is such a good match. Oh my gosh!
It was great. 5 stars.
Versus Rey Mysterio Jr. Booyaka, booyaka. Yeah, man.
This was like
I was hoping that after it was gonna be like. I was hoping
5 stars.
I was hoping that after the match, like it was gonna be like the guy up and like shake each other's hand. It's gonna be like a thing of respect, and maybe like Ray can get that kind of LWO kind of thing that he always wanted.
Filthy animals.
I don't know.
So I would love to see a Latin stable with Rey Mysterio. I would love it. If you're gonna go with these racial stereotypes, hell. Run with this shit.
At least do it good.
Run with this shit. Yeah. Because, Impact does it, and they have they have LAX.
Yep.
So, just run with this shit then. Give Ray his little Hispanic stable. Hell.
She'll be fired.
I still believe to this day they're using Hideo Itami wrong, and they should have paired him up with Shinsuke. They should have paired them both up with Asuka. They should have had this little triad running through people gimmick, and it could have been amazing. I don't even feel like they thinking on that level when it comes to booking these people. And you know what? I'd rather see Asuka running with Shinsuke, running with Hideo, running the show, than glowing with Naomi for no reason.
Because there's no tag titles.
Yeah, no reason. So, Reyes up on top. This was actually a qualifier for the Survivor Series SmackDown team.
So the story behind this. Oh, no, it wasn't a story behind this. That's for the next match. My bad.
Yeah, so Reyes up on top. He qualifies for the Survivor Series team. Next up, the women's team for Survivor Series Raw versus SmackDown was announced.
I thought we got past this. Hold on. I thought we got past this, right? So we just had Evolution, one of the best shows of the year, period. Not even just one of the best shows. I thought we got past this kind of stuff. Like, so the men had a story, a show line storyline about who's going to qualify for the SmackDown Survivor Series team because it's an important thing. Paige comes out. These are the SmackDown women's. Well, this is the Survivor Series team. I mean, the story is that Charlotte Flair is supposed to be the lead and all that, but it's just you could have done a little more story. You could have. God forbid we just have more than one woman storyline going on.
But the storyline here is not Charlotte gathering her team. The story here is building the team, and the team is falling apart because once they were announced, which the people announced were Carmella, Sonya Deville, Asuka, Mandy Rose, and of course Paige tried to announce Charlotte, who did not show up as the captain. They're trying to build the fact that this team is combustible. They're not going to get along, and they're not going to be a formidable team until Charlotte steps up to the plate, accepts who she is, leads the team to victory. That's the story they're going with. And you know what? It's a great one. It's actually a great one. If it pans out that way, it's a great story. I don't see it going any other way because SmackDown, for the most part, has always shown more unity when it comes to this Raw versus SmackDown stuff. And don't forget, they started the invasion last year. They haven't even alluded to that yet. Maybe Raw start the invasion this year.
Won't be any of that
and you know the unity thing has to come together.
You
Charlotte is being built as the unifier for this team. So I think there is a good storyline.
The reason why I brought up the men having a storyline is because I just wanted maybe the women just to have like a little more attention. That was my reason. Like I wanted them to have like more attention. Just like here goes the woman. Like the men had a whole show about how their team gonna come together. And then just like in one segment, there goes the women's. It was just like well. All right.
But the men haven't built up any type of storyline until this week, and the women actually started their storyline for the SmackDown team last week when Charlotte was originally offered the position. So they actually have a leg up on the men.
Okay.
Their storyline is coming together a little bit better. They actually do have the time, and as far as time on the card, they have.
That's very
they've been having a couple of segments. I pay attention really heavily to the women booking because the women have actually been the most interesting part of WWE right now. Yeah. There is a real revolution going on, and the women, about a year, maybe 2 years ago, I would say during Charlotte's championship run and on Raw and stuff, and NXT thing, they kept me watching. They were like the highlight of the night, and the highlights of these events. So, I'm keeping a real close eye on the goings on of the women. The only thing, like you really did point out how they do the tag team friend system thing with them. Yeah, right. That's true, and they should change that. Yeah. Which is why I don't like the Glow Asuka thing, because it's like, why?
Doesn't make any sense.
But they end up brawling.
Because they have the same color hair.
They end up brawling, and that pretty much ends the segment. Charlotte's still leaving us hanging.
Mandy Rose come out there insulting everybody.
Oh yeah, she said something about Naomi's
but that's the thing though.
Husband.
She just said something about it. Like she didn't say like anything. It was like no insult or anything.
That's what started the brawl, actually.
Yeah, she just said like.
And
she said his name. And
she ended up doing like a Luthez press and beating the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Trying to beat the shit out of Mandy Rose.
It got pretty popping. It definitely got pretty popping.
So the next qualifier for the men's Survivor Series match was Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy.
And Daniel Bryan had a representative, and The Miz had a representative.
They were both at ringside commentary while this match was going on, and I didn't really get to see the most part of this match. I saw like the highlights, but from what you told me, this was a pretty good match.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan wanted Jeff Hardy to win because he was representing him, and The Miz chose Samoa Joe, and they're both on commentary. And those two are hilarious together. Yeah. The Miz and Daniel Bryan are hilarious together. They're going back and forth.
They're gold.
Talking about himself.
I hope this is gonna lead to their match at WrestleMania. And
I hope it leads to Dr. Shelby coming back.
I hope it. No. Forget Dr. Shelby. I never want to see them become a tag team. Miz and Bryan work best as rivals. They've been rivals since day one of Daniel Bryan's appearance, as on NXT with the original run with the rookies and pros. So leave it as it is. They're doing great work. I just hope the title gets thrown in their mix as opposed to AJ Styles' run, which officially
has hit a year.
Is 365.
Phenomenal year.
At this point, he's 366 on the day of this recording, but
so he can lose.
Yeah, I
love AJ Styles. But he can
love
lose.
AJ Styles.
That's how he was number 5 on my list. He's number 1 on Focus's list. He was number 5.
Let them go back and see that episode where we break down who our top 5 wrestlers today are. Go check that episode up on YouTube.
Check it out right now.
But yeah, AJ Styles' reign, all the wait. What? Oh.
So before you huff and you puff and you continue to blow, let me remind you that this is the house that AJ Styles built.
So, AJ's been 365 already. Plus, I think it's time. He needs to drop the title, and I would love for Miz and Bryan to actually have that Mania match, against each other for that belt.
That would be awesome.
So Samoa Joe ends up winning.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting into Daniel Bryan's face.
Ends up tapping him out.
He ends up tapping.
I love it. He taps Jeff Hardy out. And then he comes outside. He has his hands up. Some podcast listeners. I'm doing a demonstration of focus. He just comes out. Daniel Bryan's sitting down. He just comes up. He just throws his hands up like right in his face. Just comes right in his face. And I'm pretty sure Daniel Bryan just gets up and punches him in the face. And then they roll into the ring. And then...
Well, Miz tries to stop him and he starts punching Miz in the face.
Okay.
And then Samoa Joe goes on the offensive and Daniel Bryan ends up putting him in the bell lock. Ooh. Yes lock.
Yes lock.
Throwback. La bell lock. Early Daniel Bryan.
I haven't heard that in years.
So... That's Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the SmackDown ends with Joe in the yes lock.
No. He has him in the yes lock. The Miz gets him out of the yes lock. The Miz gets him out of the yes lock, and he pulls him off. And then Shane McMahon comes into the ring.
Oh, right.
And he grabs Daniel Bryan from behind. Yeah. Daniel Bryan just boom. Judo toss.
Yeah. So now there's gonna be. I hope this doesn't allude to the fact that maybe Shane is gonna be a part of that team. I don't want to see Shane. He wasn't announced, but I hope he's not going to be.
No, he is part. Yeah, he is part of the team. It's Shane McMahon.
No, Bryan, he wasn't announced.
Samoa Joe. Yes, he is. Shane McMahon is part of the team. I'm trying to tell you.
I think he's going to be a manager.
No, Shane McMahon is part of the team.
No, because he made them co-captains at the start of SmackDown. And there was no mention of Shane at all this episode.
Would you put money on it?
I wouldn't put money for the simple fact that that's why I said I hope this is not leading to Shane McMahon joining this team.
Is on the team. I'm trying to tell you. They had a segment backstage where Daniel Bryan and The Miz were saying, you know what's crazy? You know what? You should be on the team. I agree with you. I'm trying to tell you. Shane McMahon.
So they put him on the team.
Yes.
That's horrible. That is horrible.
You know why? Because he's the best in the world. Shane McMahon is the best in the world. Okay?
You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
Don't be mad.
That's just trash.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad. Okay? Why would you not want
Horrible. I don't want Shane in this match.
He's the best in the world. Why
Who-
would you not
who-
want the best in the world?
First of all, he said he's not. He straight up said he's not the best in the world. We do not want Shane in this
I
match.
want Shane.
Who want you really want Shane in this match?
No, of course.
Of course not.
Of course not.
Nobody wants Shane in this match.
But of course I want Shane in this match.
I want to see Shane get his ass kicked. Though,
It's horrible.
for putting
It's-
himself
Shane
in
almost
the
died
match.
last year. Didn't Roman Reigns almost spear him to death last year? Now Roman Reigns speared the shit out of him last year. No, dead serious. Like Randy Orton had to break kayfabe. He had to go tell his kids. Remember last year? I think he tried to do the coast to coast or something like that. Roman Reigns came. Boom.
Oh yeah, he speared the shit out of him. But
It's not funny.
that's why I don't
he's
want.
okay.
But
He's okay now. So
those spots are good. Those spots are good. I'm not gonna lie. But do you really want to see a full fledged Shane
No.
in the match?
Of course I do.
Nobody
No.
wants to see those horrible punches and stupid rabbit jumping. Like, I'm sorry, but I love Shane. I respect what he's done
I would like to see
and
him
what
get
he
his ass
does,
kicked, though.
but I'm good. Nobody wants to see that, bro. Shoot. So far the matches announced for Survivor Series are Universal Champion versus WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. We have Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown's Women's Champion Ronda Rousey versus the man Becky Lynch. We have United States Champion versus Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. And so far, we're just awaiting the full results on who's going to be in the men's 5-on-5 match, Raw versus SmackDown. The tag team match looks like it's pretty much decided on SmackDown's end. Usos and New Day versus yet to be determined on Raw. And we're still awaiting the women's side on Raw to be determined. And that's pretty much this week in wrestling.
I just want to say that Daniel Bryan just beat up Samoa Joe, The Miz, and Shane McMahon without any shoes on and his socks.
What
Like
the
John
hell happened
Wick?
to his shoes?
I somehow during the fight kicked them off.
So he's just out here like,
Barefoot.
this is his house. No, this is the house
Yeah,
that
he has
AJ
socks on.
Styles built.
Yeah, AJ wasn't even on a show, which makes no sense. This is a year in Manchester when he won the WWE Championship from Jinder Mahal. Makes no sense. And as much as I would love to sit here and talk and boast and brag about this and that and that and this, I think it's time
And the
for us
goings on of
yeah.
wrestling worldwide.
I think it's time, you know. Hey,
Break it down.
Hey,
random one. But Kenny, take us home.